Take it. All right. Hello, everybody.
Good morning.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. This is Luke with Uncivil Liberty coming at you. We have nobody in the room watching us, so it's just me staring at myself, talking to myself, and I'm enjoying it. As always, we have Halston here.
Yay.
Yeah. And then there we have Horace. Horace, say something.
Hello.
See, and he actually has his own name this time.
Yeah.
And, of course, the lovable, the cuddly Wit. Say hi, Wit.
Howdy, y'all.
All right, for the one person that has actually joined in so far, just to kind of give you a heads up, we have been beating our head against the wall because Facebook has shut down our privileges of being able to stream live to our page. Not a problem.
It's Laura.
We didn't realize this was going to happen. Otherwise, we would have had contingencies in place.
Yep.
We'll unfuck this mess real quick. That's cool. No problem.
Oh yeah.
But these videos are we enjoy our live interaction, so we've invited people to come in on the actual link to the show to come in and take up shop. So
yeah, welcome to the production room.
Exactly. You can get a little behind the scenes. Okay, and
where all the magic
won't let her in. Oh my fucking god! Are you kidding me? Oh, technology, man. I'm done. From now on, it's just going to be shadow puppets. I am out. Oh, Steve joined. All right, Steve's coming in.
Okay.
All right. Yep. Sorry, everybody. Not our fault. You can blame the assholes who decided to report us for hate speech last week, for kind of really fucking up the works for us. But that's okay. We'll fix it.
And the funny part is I
Austin's
didn't hate them until this week.
Yeah.
Now I hate them.
Yeah.
Oh, this means fucking war.
Yeah, buddy.
And I'm a firm believer in lay waste and salt the earth.
That's right. We're gonna dumpster fire. You can just. This has been dumpster fire December. This is just gonna add fuel to the flames. And for those of you who don't know me, I don't usually drink, but this has been one of those days where this is my friend.
That's right. Yeah.
We got Steve and we got Laura in the room. If you guys have, let me see, they don't have their camera or their microphone. Laura Lane's got her microphone on. So if she wants to, if anybody wants to participate, this is going to be a live action show. So you can jump in. You can turn on that webcam. You can show us your pretty faces, and jump in and talk. If you can get a word in edgewise between any of us,
fucking luck.
because there are times when we can't even get our words in. Ugh, now it says a page one. Okay, so making me download Chrome. Told me to download the app. Son of a bitch. God damn it.
Yeah.
No problem. I don't know.
It's a good app. If you got an iPhone.
Oh, we have a chat message. Look.
What the fuck? This is
I
all
have
new to
mail.
me.
Laura Lane can't hear a thing.
Uh-huh. We all can.
Yes.
All right.
Let's see what we got here.
All right, Laura Lane.
Steve can.
Oh, shit.
Steve can, but Laura Lane can't.
I'm going to guess, Laura, that you probably need to check. It asks at the front whether you're using headphones or not. Check your headphones and/or computer speakers.
This is going to be a fucking wild show.
She's got audio. She's receiving Dolby audio.
Yeah, we are transmitting.
Yeah.
She's not sending any. Okay.
Probably localized problem.
Yeah. Sorry, Laura.
All right.
Somebody type her these answers because she can't hear them.
All right, so she says I'll just sit here and make up words to go with their mouths moving.
Perfect.
Oh my god. How do we talk to somebody who can't hear us? Do we need to start signing? Just be like, is your volume turned up? Hi, I work for Comcast Technical Support. Did you try unplugging it and plugging it back in?
Okay. So we're drowning in technical issues because
my God, it is just a nightmare. It's a
So the first thing is we have a missing episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta roll on.
Yeah.
We gotta push on. As far as this technical stuff, we will have this hammered out next week. We were not expecting to be thrown this curveball. So
Yeah.
100%. Bam. Apparently, you have to download Chrome in order to use this. And then I guess in some cases you have to download the app. So yeah, we'll figure this out. Massive apologies. Now it's making now they're having to download the Blue Jeans app. Are you fucking kidding? Okay. All right. So we're gonna push forward.
The Blue Jean apps is small though, so
yeah, it's worth it. But
it's actually a cool app. You will use it in other shit. I guarantee it.
All right. Oh my God. Anyways, what's the meeting ID number? Okay,
I got it for Ron. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. Well, no, I'm sending that over.
Hey.
Oh, there's Laura Lane. Can you hear us now? Or something.
Oh shit, we can hear you.
What?
yeah,
Nothing.
she's kind of coming and going.
Oh.
So if this thing's still going in 5 years, when someone goes back and binge watches all of our episodes, they're gonna be like, "What the fuck were they doing that one episode?"
Yeah.
Well, we were born in war. That's the deal.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, then there's Ron.
Ron.
Ron Bishop joined. Hey, Ron.
Hey
Of
guys,
course, this stuff works because he's already been with us once.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Good to see you again.
good to see you. Kind of feeling under the weather, but I'm alive.
Well, I'm glad you're doing well, except for not feeling good. You did good yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's been fun, and really appreciate all y'all have done.
No problem.
Yeah, that was I was up very late seeing what the results coming in, and I was ecstatic at the fact that it was the actual write-ins that pretty much killed the entire election.
Definitely.
And that was just like, hey, look, Roy Moore, Doug Jones, just the fact that there was actually a dent made with that 1.7%. I was through the roof on that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the good thing is that the state's got to count those votes now. So
Yep.
we'll find out Tuesday exactly how many votes we got.
I can't wait to see the breakdown.
Yeah.
The list of people that's going to be in there. I'm pretty sure that the exact breakdown is going to be pretty amusing because you're going to have those Donald Ducks and Nick Sabans and all those at the bottom.
Oh,
Yeah, I think we beat Saban though.
Oh yeah, I think we beat Nick Saban. I'm also pretty sure we beat all those other guys that were in that forum with you a couple of weeks ago or a week ago.
Probably.
Yep.
And Donald Duck, they won't count. They won't count fictional characters. But
it won't count, but it'll still go up on the news with the number next to it.
Actually, my understanding from reading the way the law is structured, they don't even report that one if it's a fictional
Right.
character. But like Nick Saban, he would be reported.
He's a real human. Well, he's a superhuman, but
So, from what I understand, there will be some for Jeff Sessions. So.
All right, so
strangely,
Laura Lane just says, "Fuck it, just send me a transcript." Yeah, we'll be sure we get Horace to transcribe this entire thing because he has nothing else better to do with his life.
Fuck you.
And Rachel joined. Hey, Rachel.
Hello, Rachel.
Rachel.
Try to touch base. Let's take a step back. We're having a hard time with our Facebook page allowing us to stream live because last week we apparently ruffled some feathers and we got reported for hate speech. So we are on the same list as the Aryan Brotherhood and the all those.
That's it.
Yeah,
There's us too.
Those guys. Which baffles me. That's just we were lit up. We were straight out pissed because we didn't record it. Nothing like that. And so we're kind of just stuck with, the lost episode that we'll never get back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's no rebuttal.
And yes, there's still no rebuttal. If you guys remember, anyone who watched the show, we offered the ability for these people to sit with Wit and have a rebuttal. Wit was probably the most, moderate of everyone last week.
Yeah, I'm still the one that can be sold. I'm the honest. I don't say honest. We're all honest. But I'm the one that is
Speak for yourself.
least least biased or whatever. So I'm ready to hear whoever. Phil, if they want to sit down and talk, I'll talk.
Right.
Yeah.
No hostility here.
They're not. They're cowards. They're gonna slink around in the muck in that cesspool they've created, and that's all it's gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And for those of you that are watching through this Blue Jeans app, we can actually have up to 75 people in here.
Oh yeah.
So, if you know people that want to get in on this, don't hesitate to share. Bring them on in. Why not? I mean, the night's already fucked as it is. So what's just one more? What's just one more mess? But yeah, no. Last week was a huge clusterfuck all around, and it made us kind of reevaluate some of our technical aspects, our infrastructure, and so we're gonna be making some changes. One of the things is we did sign up for DTube. It is not a man-on-man porn site. It is actually a decentralized version of YouTube, so we're gonna start posting out there too, as well as trying to find a better way to stream live. If that means bringing in another webinar platform or whatever options are cost effective, we're gonna be looking at that.
Yeah.
What else we could talk about as far as last week's show?
I think everybody knows what the content of that show was that got us booted, and who the people were that did that. So I don't think we even got to go into that.
Nope, sure don't.
Yeah.
No, but we do have. I did go out and get some stuff for the people whose feelings were hurt. I'm gonna keep these by my computer at all times. First off, we have our own branded version of Summer's Eve. It is there's two of them there. It's for the minor vaginal irritation. So if you're one of those libertarians who gets your feelings hurt, I'd be more than happy to send you a box. This costs me $2. And if it soothes your sensitive areas, then so be it. This right here. Most likely will be going to our chair, who even though it's not confirmed, is the one that reported because he was in for 5 minutes and gone. But then we also have here for the annoying person that hovers around social media, we do have the own uncivil liberty, bitch be gone. It's in the new Liberty scent. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Liberty.
So anytime you're in Alabama Libertarians Facebook group, you can just be like, oh, God, bitch be gone. Bitch be gone.
Smells like freedom.
You get all my beer, too. It's fucking Yes, we'll be putting these both up on our Facebook page if you would like to buy them. No problem. Again, I'm selling these for $9.99. Perfectly branded, custom branded Summer's Eve for the whiny libertarian, and then also for the bitch in the group. Just get it gone, bitch be gone. All right, so that's the last plug that I have for that. Oh, now it's all fragrant over here. Ugh. All right, so let's roll into the elections. Let's talk. Let's get a little bit hot and heavy as far as the overall turnout in Alabama. In case you've been living under a rock in Sri Lanka somewhere, Roy Moore was defeated largely due to the write-in votes that were there, whether they were for our friend Ron Bishop here or anyone. The write-ins kind of kept Roy from going to Washington. Yes, of course, the write-ins also allowed a baby killer to go to Washington. But yeah, what's the take? And Ron, I'm glad you're here. I'd love to hear kind of how you feel about. Now it's all said and done. You kind of kick back and relax a little bit now. Go for it.
Yeah, I think we gave the voters out there an opportunity to exercise their rights to vote and to actually vote for someone that they could live with. Whether they would have voted for Moore or voted for Jones instead of voting for us, that's kind of irrelevant. But we put ourselves out there, and we gave folks a good option besides what was on the ballot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I know I heard from a bunch of people that having you soothed their conscience a goodly bit. They were able to have a option. They could go in there and of course they couldn't pull the lever. Of course, nobody pulls the lever anymore. It's still in the bubble. But that they couldn't in good conscience go and help go vote for either of those other two guys. So offering options is a good thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm
we're
sorry.
too early to have a vote.
I'm going through the chat because I am not used to having to field an actual chat in this box.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, I'm just making sure that people can hear us. Austin left. Austin said, "Fuck this show, I'm out."
We had too many. We're not far enough along in the process to actually have the vote breakdown. And again, I'm looking forward to that. I would like to see exactly what the impact was. I think that it would be accurate to say, particularly in Alabama, that the Libertarians don't dip from one side or the other. We probably cut pretty evenly into both sets of numbers. So
Yeah,
it wasn't like
in
it was
fact,
a vote swapping thing.
Yeah, a lot of the folks that friends of mine and stuff, that messaged me and said, "Hey, I voted for you. I voted for you." They're across the spectrum. They're liberals and they're uber conservatives, and they just having us out there as another option for them, gave them a better vote.
Well, I know you pulled at least one Doug Jones supporter.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, well, because he told me you did.
Well, I mean, let's be honest here. Other than the deal with the 16th Street Baptist Church deal, a vote for Doug Jones is like voting for a bowl of cold oatmeal. I mean, how could you get excited about him?
Yeah,
it's tough. Yeah, well, it would have been tough.
Let's put this. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I don't necessarily think that he would have garnered as much support had somebody like Luther Strange or Brian Peoples run the nomination, because they're both of those. I mean, Strange to an extent had a little bit of controversy surrounding him, but not nearly to the point of Roy Moore. Not anywhere close.
Yeah, anybody else would have crushed him out.
Right.
Yeah.
So people want to sit there and blame the write-ins for Moore losing the seat going to a Democrat instead of a Republican. The Republicans kind of need to take a step back and own that and be like, what, we put forward a real shit candidate. We should have known that. We got kind of hot and bothered with his whole, riding a horse to around and with his little pea shooter, the pew 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 thing. People just got just crazy about it. And I think honestly, had they had a better contender, I don't necessarily know that they would have gotten as much support on the Democrat side.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, to put it simply, and I've been using this analogy a lot, the GOP just did what the Democrats did last year. They ran their Hillary Clinton.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that and expect to win. I mean, when you have somebody who is so hated, so reviled, justly so, mind you, that,
Yeah.
So.
And Laura, just so everybody knows, Laura Lane has to leave early in the morning, so she's been having audio problems, so she's just gonna call it a night. We'll be sure that we send her a link to the show once it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep.
Well, it'll be it'll also be the very first episode on the page, the actual show page.
Yeah. That's fine. I just want to be sure that she did reach out and specifically ask. I want to be sure that she actually gets that, and that's fine. We have a massively huge audience base, and our fan base is just frothing with people, so we have no problems. Frothing with people. No. Actually, it's not. We have a very solid. I mean, honestly, I would much rather have 10 solid fans than 100 mediocre, pissy, boring people.
Oh, like the opponents?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, so what else we got to say about this election thing? I think it was a win all around. Even though we had people like Busby and the other guy coming in as write-ins, and even Nick Saban decided to throw his hat in the ring. I think that altogether, collectively, it definitely made a dent to the point where the president even acknowledged it. So
I have a couple of observations, not necessarily from the libertarian angle, more from like the meet the pressy kind of angle.
Great.
one, I think this represents a sea change as far as Southern voting habits. This was a horrible, horrible, horrible defeat for the church bloc. The Talibaptists took one on the fucking chin.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they can't if they can't pull Alabama, they can't pull nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. They're done, I think. Well,
And
maybe not done.
They took a couple on the chin, not just losing,
Well,
not just a Democrat winning, but the very tail end of Roy Moore's interview last night, or his speech or whatever, his concession speech. You know, God wants us to have victory or whatever the fuck it was. You know, that's a moral defeat too, which is, I mean, that's a little bit far beyond the scope of our conversations every day, but yeah, they took it pretty hard.
Yeah, I think
And
that's
should.
a big national come away on that is that the again the Republicans have kowtowed to the Christian right, you know, the single issue abortion voters for the past 30 years, 40 years, and have treated them like the Democrats treat the blacks. They are we do what we want to you because we know you're gonna vote for us.
Yep.
Well,
yeah, I was
now they ain't even good for that.
I was honestly surprised. I mean, I knew that the single issue abortion vote was fairly prevalent. I had no clue how numerous. I mean, it seems like just about every single GOP person I've seen recently, that is an issue for them. That it's you either are pro-life or we won't vote.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I mean, it shocked me, honestly, at how pervasive that was.
Yep.
One, I think that part of it is that's how they framed the argument in this particular election. I think another part of it is that those people are so fucking annoyingly loud that they overrepresent in social media, i.e. they scream so loud that we think there's more of them than there actually are.
Yeah.
I was all over the place.
like maybe ballot petitioners, like people who get paid to collect ballot petitions, because there's like two, but they're fucking loud as shit.
Yeah.
And you sit down and you look at the messages; they're all coming from two people who actually make the money.
No,
doing it.
I was seeing
They're the ones that actually get paid.
I was seeing a whole lot of different messages from different people across a broad spectrum of things. It wasn't an isolated thing. It wasn't a small group. It was extremely pervasive. And I mean, it seems to me that probably 80, 85, maybe 90% of the GOP is now a single issue thing.
Yeah.
And that's
Well, the wives are about the babies and the husbands are about the guns.
you know. And,
I don't know, man. There's some good ones out there. I had to argue with like 12 people this morning. I mean, of course, it was on social media, so it wasn't they weren't real people. They were Russian bots, but it was
Russian
about
bots.
how
Wanda.
fucking nobody Cold Oatmeal Jones was a deep state implant by the Democrats and the Republicans to upseed the Libertarian Roy Moore. I was like, what the fuck? And there was a lot of them, and they were sharing like emails back and forth and 4chan shit. And I'm like, what are you doing? What is wrong with you people? Hi, Christine.
Yeah, Christine joined. I think Eric just joined too. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're not just single issue, man. There's some crazy.
oh yeah.
Well, you know,
If
you do
Doug
enough meth at the
Jones
trailer
is deep
park.
state, so am I.
Yeah.
Second factor, even though, like I said, I think that's a great sea change. Democrats, man, they turn off.
No, I can go in there. I can go in and mute that for. There we go. I got you, Christine. I got you. Oh, Christine, don't leave. I just muted you. Don't leave. We need all the help we can get.
Yeah, we
honestly,
do.
please
Yes.
don't leave.
Please come
come
back.
back.
Come
Please
back.
come
Just
back.
turn the camera off. Just come back, please.
Leave
Okay.
the camera on. I don't care.
What
Yeah,
was
I don't
talking
care.
about? Oh, yeah.
Whit was yelling at you, not me. I
Yeah,
don't
we're not on Facebook. It's not
whatever.
This didn't even have
Hey, just so we're clear, professionalism for this show, anything close to it, was gone in the first 12 minutes.
Oh, God, yes.
That's right.
Yeah, true.
It's a free for all now.
True,
So
we kinda-
Yeah, I'm not even really sure why I still have clothes on.
Well, we do still have to upload it to YouTube. So,
that'll probably get flagged and pulled off for hate speech. Too.
Yeah, well, we just need a little bitty tiny strip going across there, and you won't even be able to see it. So.
Oh yeah, well, for me, yeah, that's for sure. It is wintertime.
Me too.
An ash left. Oh my God, we are chasing people off. Please come back. Please come back.
Everyone,
please
say.
Do I need to juggle a dance? What?
I don't know.
I can do all of it. Anyway, let's get back at it.
Yeah, we'll go back to it.
Democrats. The Democrats, oh my God, they're acting like they're going to they've taken back over the state. It's a sea change. Did you read the thing from fucking Dan Rather?
No.
Anybody
No.
read that?
No.
Dan Rather wrote, it starts with, then the crimson tide broke and a blue wave spread across the land. It literally starts with that.
That's out of control, man.
I guess I'll have to check that out.
Oh my God.
I've had to explain to a lot of people who are like, who have been going on. It's like, and they're from all over the U.S. It's like, well, this is a big deal. It's like, actually, no, this really isn't a big deal. Do not take this as a sign of things to come. This was an outlier. The GOP ran their version of Hillary Clinton. It's not so much that the Democrats won as, well, the GOP threw the election.
Yeah.
That was exactly it. I think there was a lot of folks voting against Roy Moore. There was not very many people voting for Doug Jones.
Yeah.
Just not.
I mean, I think the difference is probably Madison County. I think the big Democratic strongholds in Alabama were still Democratic strongholds.
Did you see Limestone County?
Yeah, I did see Limestone County. Like,
holy hell!
Yeah, my voting district was.
I know that's my voting district.
Oh yeah, the same one. Yeah. What was it? Fucking 40%. Only, or no, it was less than that.
Yeah, it was crazy weird. Like, wasn't expecting that at all. Not in this area. Limestone County.
Roy Moore got like 35% of our district in Limestone County.
Yeah, in Limestone. Yeah, I mean we got big name churches here.
Yeah, so there were a lot of people voting against Roy Moore, but the people who were gonna vote Democrat voted Democrat. Birmingham, Montgomery, Mobile, half of Tuscaloosa. Like the standard people who were gonna vote Democrat anyway did. But Doug Jones won because he was running against Roy Moore. And that's why I tried to explain that to people too.
Not because
you have people from California that are like hashtag Doug Jones. Like, you're making this dude a celebrity and you have no idea what his policies are.
Right.
Like, I think he's very vanilla.
That actually made it harder.
Yeah, he's not fantastic or anything.
Honestly, this right here probably could have won against Roy Moore.
The big appeal for frickin' Roy Moore was tell the rest of the country to go to hell and pound sand. All those Democrats from outside the state, if any of y'all are watching, fuck y'all. Because all that yammer that y'all did for the previous month, all that did was give him juice, okay?
Yeah, that's true.
That's all that did. Y'all weren't fucking helping. Y'all were hurting. Y'all don't understand how Alabama politics work at all.
Nope.
Okay? So
And
y'all
you
nearly talked yourselves into your nightmare.
Yeah. And we use the term work very loosely.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
It is an old boys club.
It is an old boys club, and the thing that just gets me is like I was talking to Erin, my wife, about it. When you hate the other party so much because of the word, right? You hate Democrats so much, you hate Libertarians so much, you hate whatever just because of that word, and you start picking people because they're running against that particular party, and you have no idea what that other party represents or no idea who the person you're voting for represents. It's just because you heard it on social media. Like that's a huge divide for me with a lot of people, and I'm starting to see this take more and more effect on society and how we interact with each other in general, and I don't like it. It hurts my feelings.
Labalism? Tribalism?
Tribalism, kind of, but not really, because you don't even know what fucking tribe you belong to.
Well, that was the the post I made. I think
Blue power.
Yeah.
It was like yesterday. One of my kids came up to me and asked me. She's like, "Are we Democrats?" I'm like, "Oh, no, no, ma'am, no." Well, what are we? I was like, if you've already seen it on my Facebook page, I apologize.
It's great, by the way. Y'all should
We
check it
aren't
out.
anything.
Humorous.
We aren't anything. I am more of an independent libertarian mindset. You have to figure out what the hell you are. When she's 11, so she's just more concerned about going and watching her Glee show with the dancing people and stuff. And
I love Skyly's reaction though. Again?
Yeah, so I beat it into their heads, because especially with my oldest one, Sky, she's a couple of years away from going out into the world and kind of being thrown in the mix of all of this, and she doesn't know where she stands on things. Like, she understands certain issues, and she's very adamantly pro-choice. She is. For a 15-year-old, she is for, the individual's right to utilize marijuana if they so feel, the rights to your own body, stuff like that. And so, kind of helping them pick up where they want to be. But one thing I wanted to really focus on them is, like, just because somebody thinks like this and believes like this doesn't make them good or bad. Like, Amanda's parents are very hardcore Democrats. It doesn't make them good or bad. It makes for a great time when it comes to, like, just picking at each other for fun. But it doesn't define who they are.
Yeah.
And that's the problem that we see in a lot of these situations is, identity politics does more harm than good when it comes to our social interactions with people.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that gets into a thing I read by Robert Higgs this week. He obviously in his old age is starting to soften up some and whatnot. But he wrote an article about ideology and how ideology is a bad way to work your way through life. Basically, it's a good way to end up sad, alone, and angry if you let your ideology get into everything and be pervasive. You should talk to your neighbors and play on sports teams and try and live a life where you interact with people not necessarily at a political level.
We're humans first. I mean, first and foremost, we are a creature that requires social interaction for us to be able to grow and to build societies and become great. But if we're going to limit our social interactions to people who only agree with what we agree with, or let's even take religion. I'm not a Christian. My religion is something that's way the fuck out there versus what's the norm here in the state. But even I sometimes have to struggle with, making sure that we are being inclusive in, other people's, other families, religious, even ceremonies. For example, this weekend we're going to a church pageant because a friend of ours is, she's putting it on, invited us. It's kind of like, I gotta spend an hour and a half at church, but you know what? We're going there to support her because we are friends with her. Whatever she believes, that's 100% on her, and that's something that religion and politics, these identity misnomers, can either make or break a society depending on how much value you put on it.
When I was a kid, I mean, obviously I grew up in South Carolina and northern Georgia, so most people were Baptist or at least Protestant, right? But you still didn't talk about religion so much other than I'll see you on Sunday, or what church do you go to? Oh, that's great. We go to this one. I hope we beat you to the Golden Corral, so we get the good seats.
Yes.
Yeah.
But politics when I was a kid I don't remember talking politics with my parents, but I do remember them distinctly not talking about politics. They would put a bumper sticker on their car, and that's about as far as they went. Mm-hmm. There wasn't explaining. They didn't get together with their friends and talk about politics. They drank beer and ate steaks and did whatever they did. So I think that we are all starting to become identified by what we believe in politically and religiously, especially on social media, because that's what people remember you by. It's you make a post about bashing Roy Moore. Well, you're the best Democrat that ever existed, but you're not. You're just a libertarian that has a loud mouth.
Or an independent, or a plethora of other options that are out there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that gets into some Rick and Morty postmodernistic stuff of why are we having to grasp at these kind of things to form our identities instead of being able to do it off of our personal accomplishments and art and those kind of things.
Right.
Right.
You know, I think disliking someone based on their political belief, solely on their political belief, is just as bad as based on their skin color. It's just it's a very trite reason to say we don't, I'm not going to associate with that person. The problem that I have is for people who don't necessarily have the backbone to stand up. If you're going to come out and say I'm a part of the Green Party or I'm a hardcore communist, I'm a Marxist, I will respect you. I will not agree with you, but I will respect you as long as you actually are in line and there's minimal cognitive dissonance in your philosophy and ideology and the way that you live. That's one thing. I'll go back to, like, for example, Rage Against the Machine. I'm sorry. You can sit there and wear your Che shirts all you want to. You can sit there and just scream about how horrible capitalism is. Problem is that you guys broke up because you weren't making enough money. And you guys are constantly pimping your music projects, which was what funds your lifestyle through capitalism. I'm sorry, that's a little hypocritical. It's issues like that. Anti-Flag. If you follow my Facebook feed, I love Anti-Flag. I think that the music's great. I don't agree with the lyrics or the philosophy behind it, but I think the music is top notch for punk. But I'm sorry, I have a hard time giving you any credit for what you're saying as far as how horrible capitalism is when you are selling tickets at $40 a piece and pimping your album on Facebook.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have a stance, stick with it. Have the backbone to actually back it up, and then I'll respect.
Well, that's my ground. That's my primary ground with modern church-going Christians. Okay, is that they don't live consistently with their own ethos. Okay, I judge people by the rule book they purport to follow. I judge them by their own rules, not by what I think they should be doing. Most people walk around judging them by what they think they should be doing. I try to judge them by what they say they should be doing. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Yeah. If you're going to come out as a hardcore Christian or a hardcore Buddhist or Muslim or whatever,
hardcore Buddhist.
Yeah.
Buddhist. There are some. There are some. But if you're coming out, but you're not real. You're not living like it. I mean, come on now. I mean, that's bullshit. It's kind of like the whole Christian Wicca thing. That thing just makes me mad. I'm like, pick one or the other, because live. If you're gonna say you're X, then live by the philosophy of X. But if you're over here, I'm X, but I'm living like what? Like I'm over here. No, sorry, no go. That's why I have problems. Yeah, I like to take people at face value. I like to think that they're truthful, and when they purport to believe a certain set of rules, well, if you're not living by that set of rules, that's the ones I'm judging you by.
Right.
So then don't be surprised when you're judged poorly by not living up to your own set of rules.
Exactly. And we can kind of circle this conversation back into the concept of libertarianism as a whole. You can be a part of the Libertarian Party all you want to. You can sit there and do ballot access drives, and you can. That's a really touchy subject. You can do all these great and wonderful things, but the bottom line is that if when it comes down to it, and you're
show me on the doll where the ballot access.
Oh my God! Let me tell you. If you just hold up a Paul Frankel doll, I'll be like, yeah, this is where it touched me. Anyway.
Well, you'd have to use a Mr. Potato Head.
Burn. Tick burn. Is that hate speech? I would hate to get this reported for hate speech. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be a little bit nicer for the fragile little people that might be watching this down the line. And if you are offended, please feel free to reach out. I'll be happy to send you this box. Can you see it with the glare? There you go. Yes, the Uncivil Liberty Summer's Eve. All right. But tying this back in, if you sit there and purport to be a libertarian, but you aren't libertarian in the way that you act when it actually matters, it's time for you to take a step back and reevaluate who you really are. Because libertarianism, as far as politics go, the way that I see it, is one of the only parties that's actually attached to a philosophy.
Yeah.
Nobody else. You have Green Party. There's no green philosophy. There's just a green platform. But Libertarian Party is supposed to be attached to the libertarianism philosophy,
which apparently the party is trying to drive out as hard as possible.
They are.
At all levels.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They are.
The way that they did the Mises Caucus at the National Convention national meetup that they just had a couple of weeks or this past week. Like, that's garbage.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Mises Caucus is coming under attack, even though they're saying that nothing official. There's no official. There's just some snide comments being made from higher ups floating around in the LNC, saying that, of course, the whole classic alt-right title. By God, if you're not with the cool crowd, you're a fucking Nazi. Isn't that right, Halston?
That's right.
That's right. Halston himself has been called a Nazi by Mr. Frankel.
Which is the dumbest shit I've
Right.
ever been called in my life.
Oh,
That's the
yeah.
dumbest. I've been called everything. That's the fucking worst. I mean,
Right.
that's that motherfucker.
that
motherfucker.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's what we're dealing
Potato
with.
head looking.
Potato head looking ass motherfucker.
There it is. Anyways, we digress. To going back to it, the Libertarian Party is one of the only parties that actually has a philosophy tied to it, and if we don't fight to keep it that way, it'll be
What do we
lost
got?
forever. It'll be no different than the Green Party. In my mind, the way that I see things kind of playing out with a lot of these national level and state level skirmishes is that you have a push of people who are trying to preserve the Libertarian Party to focus on the message of libertarianism versus people who are coming in from parties like the Green Party who are trying to make it more of their mentality as far as not necessarily in favor of free markets. That's one of the core concepts of libertarianism is free market economics. So if you have somebody who's sitting in a leadership position who is advocating opposing free market economics, we got a huge problem here.
Yeah, we got a breakdown there.
Mm-hmm. And it's a big one. And the worst part about this entire thing is the group that is being pushed out by the party, the way I see it, are the only ones that are vocal about changing the party back to the way it should be.
Right.
Mhm.
Which is, it blows my mind. I'm just glad there's a lot of support for those of us who are pushing back, who are saying that this is the party that we want, this is the party we should have, and let's go get it. And there's more of us than you know.
No, that's true, and that's one thing that I personally am looking at is there's actually something on the table, for the potential of having my membership revoked by the state party, and now also our vice chair, who's also been very vocal about making change. Now, actually, they're trying to get an emergency session to get her voted out. And that's what we're dealing with is that people are getting so entrenched that they're pushing the people who really care about the libertarian ideology out, so it can just be their own cool little social club. Yeah, on paper we're libertarians, but we really don't give a fuck. This is just just a money grab.
Yeah. It's just, look, I can understand when you're talking about Republican National Party, Democratic National Party, even the Libertarian National Party, and you've got some infightings from the different caucuses and the different ideologies based upon those parties or vice versa. But you're talking about the Libertarian Party of Alabama, there's fucking 200 of us.
No, there's 150 of us.
Okay, there's 150 of us.
There's 150 of these, but here's the sad
You're
thing.
going to kick out some good ones, and they're going to take 120 of them motherfuckers from you.
Based on the data that I've seen,
Kill the bell cow. See how that goes for you.
based on the data that I have seen, is that there's over 300 people who either are or have been members at the national level at some point in time. So that tells me that there's a hell of a lot more than 150 libertarians in the state.
Right.
What this
yeah.
tells me is that the gross bulk majority of people who identify as libertarian find no value in what the party is doing.
Exactly.
And they get frustrated. Why should I invest my money into a party that's happy just sitting around not doing anything?
We've known each other how long?
You and me since I was working on the Will Anderson show, so that would be 2010 ish. It's about 7 years. No, yeah, 11, 2010, 2011, somewhere in there.
So, how long have I been railing against the Libertarian Party?
Yes, you have been raging against the machine, sir. You have been raging against the libertarian machine.
And why?
Honestly, I totally get it. I totally get it. After Lee pretty much told you to go fornicate with yourself, I was like, that's fucked up, man. That's fucked up. You don't need the chair chasing people away. We're having a hard enough time getting people to want to come in and stay in, and getting getting quality candidates to run and getting donors to actually take us seriously. You don't need the chair in a public forum being like, oh well, don't really want you anyway, so thanks for nothing. All right, bye.
After they've already been recruited.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, because and here's the thing too is like, Rachel as a whole handles a lot of the recruitment for the actual state party. She recruits candidates, she recruits members, she recruits donors, she recruits everything. Why in God's name is it illogical? And if you're sitting on the EC being like, this is the person who fuels this party more than anybody else that sits on the EC, why the hell are we even considering this?
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, get the fuck out.
I can explain. There is no logic. There is no actual thought behind it. These
It's a witch hunt.
these are power hungry. These are power hungry, lily-livered, muck-crawling cowards. Okay.
Are we actually tapping the British slang book again?
Lily livers.
This is bollocks, I tell you, this is bollocks.
I didn't go yellow-bellied, okay? I left that one out.
Eric said rectangles. I'm not sure what that means.
Oh, rectangles. I think that's actually an emoji that can't come through on this chat.
Oh shit. Well, Foghorn Leghorn.
Foghorn Leghorn.
I say boy.
I said boy. Look at boy. And that's
boy, ain't no chicken. I'm a rooster.
And the thing is that people, especially on the Lee and Company side of the fence, they think that I'm opposed to ballot access. I'm opposed to this. I'm just coming in to we are coming in just to kind of just raise hell because we have nothing else better to do. Because, I don't have a shit ton of other projects I could be focusing my attention on. I just think this is a really important one. But it's not there has to be logic. There has to be listening to the membership. There has to be strategy. There has to be all these things that actually takes a leader. Leadership role is not just a title. Who the hell cares what the title is? If you want to be a leader, you actually have to lead. You actually have to inspire people to want to be better than what they are. And that's what we haven't seen in this party since I've been watching this party. And, I've been a member for right about a year, but I've been watching this party for a while and not really seeing a hell of a lot come out of it. It seems to have always been focused largely around the center of the state. Not a lot of reach into a lot of some of these other areas, and they were okay with that for the longest time. And that's where people like Rachel come in, and people that are kind of just starting to stack up to take some of these leadership positions, who are saying, I'm tired of being associated with a party that doesn't want to do anything. I'm tired of being associated with a party who thinks that they can just dump tens of thousands of dollars into just pissing it away at the state level to try to get ballot access that we can't keep. Instead of being more
shit over and over and over.
Since 1998, we've been throwing money at this ballot access thing. In many cases statewide. Even if we get on, we can't stay on because the laws are actually written against us, which is fine.
And continually get rewritten against
Just change the strategy.
I do really need one of the people who push for this ballot access. I don't really care who it is. I don't care which one of them decides to have this conversation with me. But someone needs to explain to me how you take money from the members of the LPA and you are going out to get this ballot access. And then you come back and you say, look what Texas did with ballot access. There's 100 people running. And there's 150 fucking members. So you mean to tell me that 66% of the members of the LPA are going to go run for some office and give you $150 or $250 so that they can run? I need one of them to explain to me the fucking logic behind that decision. Did they do a panel? Did they ask somebody? Because I want to know who answered the question. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
The thing is that they brought in a political consultant named Paul Frankel who said this is an amazing idea, and nobody stopped for a second and say, wait a second, what's in it for this guy? $100 and something thousand. Oh, he's doing it completely pro bono. Then what the fuck does he need the money for?
And here's another question that I think really should be answered.
Can you move your camera because while I enjoy your curtains, I think your curtains are great. There it is.
I slid down a bit. I slide down on the couch over time.
Me too.
But
what happens when you get old?
When you're spending all this money on ballot access and everything, you're emptying the bank accounts, possibly going in the hole. Why are you then coming back and complaining about being broke for other things?
Thank you.
Bruh. I couldn't even comment on that.
Oh
I
my
couldn't do it.
God. It's like, not even a week after this whole debacle, this dumpster fire that was said by yours truly and everybody here.
I have to come out of pocket for the newsletter.
It's like,
Send a fucking
okay,
email,
so
dickhead.
so we just voted to throw away $15,000 of our members' hard-earned cash, and now we're gonna take to Facebook in an official LPA page post and cry about how broke we are. You can't have it both ways.
Right.
Either be fiscally responsible and don't piss away money, or piss away the money and don't cry about it.
Right. Yeah.
I can understand if we haven't had a donation in 6 months and we're running on fumes and we've got liabilities we have to pay for as a party. I totally get that. But you can't sit there and just shit on people who are bringing up the fact that we shouldn't be spending this money and then turn around and cry about how we don't have enough money. It doesn't work that way, and that is short-sighted leadership if I've ever seen it.
Yes.
It's not leadership. It is someone stepping in, going, "I'm in control now."
Yes, Ron. I know you're chatting. I totally agree. Focus on people taking running office as a serious endeavor. Yes, support the people who have actually taken the time to assemble a committee. Maybe even start taking up some ballot access petitions. Who are showing the initiative that they're serious. That's when you can. That's where, as a leader in my position, would be like, okay, they're showing they're actually wanting to do this. And then here's an idea. That ballot access money, once and this is not my idea. I want to say Rachel told me this, but I could be completely and totally wrong. Pay the candidate for the ballot access signatures instead of giving it to a criminal.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey, and then they can use that money to fuel their campaign. Pay them
Yeah.
$3 a signature, and then they can turn around and throw that into advertising or into yard signs or whatever they wanted to.
I would like to say this. That's one thing that the national party's doing very well in comparison to our local party, is that they have put a lot of resources and a lot of time and a lot of effort into making a new set of election campaigning support materials. They got online classes on how to run a campaign. They got all kinds of, they've done a bunch of stuff. And we got, our structure on that is nothing. Zero.
Right.
The LP don't even know what's available to be run for.
And that, and in all fairness, that's not for lack of trying. There's been one or two voices that have tried to really start getting those gears turning. The problem is that it takes more than one or two people to actually get something like this going. You have to have an executive committee that gives a shit. You have to have leaders in positions across the state who find value in that. And that's what we just don't have right now. Everyone's cool with this being a social club and pissing away thousands of dollars on ballot access instead of finding, recruiting members and recruiting candidates and grooming candidates and saying, hey, look, and treating their candidates like gold.
Bottom line, it's either idiocy or a racket. And I know that varies on a person by person basis. I mean, for some people it's their racket, and for other people they're duped and it's just idiocy.
Yeah,
but that's got to stop.
And just so you know, Ash came up and she's saying that Frankel's complete waste if the party does not mobilize and get the other needed signatures. I think he's a waste completely. Period. Not personally, but just everything about it is a complete and total waste. Because even it makes no sense for us to invest $100 and something thousand of other people's money for us to get a 4, 5, 6% return at the polls, maybe.
If that.
But
and
I'm
being generous. Guerrilla media will get more, visibility and more name recognition and all the things that actually make people vote.
Right.
Better than look at the bubble at the top of the box, the box at the top of the ballot.
Yep.
I mean, that's what it's all about. Is that box at the top, right? So that they can put it in and say, I'm straight line voting. That's what the whole fight's over.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I don't really know, because we can't even get our chair to fucking elaborate it in a clear way to inform the membership of what the EC's spending the money on. That's the problem. Communication.
That is one of the issues. Whoever that other she's a woman, yeah.
Teresa, we shall call her Teresa.
Teresa, that sounds good.
No, that's actually her name. I did a background check on her.
And it sounds good, Luke. Give me that.
Yeah,
It sounds
yeah.
good. It sounds Teresa has a nice ring to it. I think she's the one that said that this was
T-Dog.
about state level access. So the big bubble at the top, the straight line all across the state for a fucking midterm. So
Yeah, for a midterm. Yeah, for a
And it will
midterm.
immediately cycle back off because there's no chance of hitting 20%.
No,
See,
not
no.
especially at a mid. But these are the things that the EC as a whole should be discussing and saying, wait a second, this doesn't make any logical sense here. This looks like a money grab. But no, everyone's just kind of like, well, hey.
I'd rather spend a year racking our brains on how we're going to go bust our ass to get that many signatures to get Ron Bishop's ass back on the Senate ticket for 2020. You know what I mean? Like, I like Ron. I would do that for Ron.
Yeah, well,
I
see, the
don't
thing
know
is,
that I'm gonna do that for
Ron's
158.
doing 2018, most likely
They-
run as well. And
thing is,
that's
that's
one
all
thing
right.
that as a party as a whole, really to capitalize on the amount of momentum that he got, that could actually do wonders. And so being able to fund that type of endeavor, that makes logical sense because half the work is already done.
Yeah.
And if these donors are so willing to throw money at us, great. Just give us your monies. We'll put it in escrow solely for candidate support, candidate development, and then we'll do local ballot access drives. That makes sense as long as there's a candidate who's actually serious, stuff like that. But it's kind of got this little caveat of it has to be the entire state. Honestly, this is not whether the ballot access laws that retaining ballot access is crazy high. This is not exactly the most libertarian friendly state. This isn't New Hampshire, all right? This is, you have more people who are willing to lean, but they're not really ready to walk away from the GOP or the Dem Party, So
Which is the problem because temperamentally, I think you have a pretty strong stripe of, hey, this is my property line, get the fuck off it here in this state.
yeah, exactly.
The biggest problem, one of the biggest problems though, is simple image. Somebody mentions libertarians. Oh, y'all ran Gary Johnson, the guy who didn't know what a lipo was.
Aleppo?
You didn't know who Aleppo was until you tell that, bitch.
Yeah.
I knew what Aleppo was.
I did too.
No big deal.
I did because I Googled the shit, so I was like, whatever.
The point
I actually
being
named
that
it Aleppo.
it was a huge black eye. The thing Arvin's, the vice chair said was a huge,
Arvin is fucking
huge
toxic. Arvin's fucking
black
toxic.
eye.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a large number of non-rocket scientists at that level. The guy who did the message from the Satanic Church on Easter Sunday, that was fucking brilliant. Did y'all know about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There was somebody on Easter Sunday this past year on the Libertarian National page. They started posting crap from Satanic American.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I actually follow that. That's actually a really interesting read.
It is a good read.
Yeah.
That's not the point.
Yeah, that's not.
I'm just saying, for those of you who aren't scared of fancy titles, Satanic American is actually pretty. It's pretty for the most part, a lot of times non-biased. They have good perceptions on things. They have good coverage from time to time. It's worth checking out if you can handle that name. But oh yeah, so Ron just popped in. He has taken a stab at the Alabama Senate in 2018. He needs less than 500 signatures. 500. So
in his district.
In his district, he needs 500 signatures in his district. Well, let me ask you guys this.
What is his district?
20.
Irondale.
Yeah, it's the Irondale area. So it's
Actually, should do okay there. Yeah.
It's currently held by the Blues. So let's see what he says. It's 20. Yep.
That's northeast Birmingham, and it's sort of in between. It's starting to head towards the suburbs a little bit, and it's sort of a mixed community.
Democratic. Right.
Oh, you tell me when
I
you
mean,
want to do it. I'll go get you 500 signatures.
That's what I'm
Well,
talking
then the
about.
Libertarian would play there better than the Republican.
If we had strong leadership in the EC and know that, hey, Ron Bishop just did a write-in campaign. He's got a lot of momentum. He's going for state senate in a couple of months. Let's kind of pile in some money behind him. Let's go get those signatures. Those signatures, even if they're $3 a pop, that's $1,500. That's a hell of a lot less than 15,000, and we actually stand a chance of Ron winning because he actually has shown the initiative of being serious.
Yep.
That's a logical approach. I'm okay with that. Come at me with logic. Don't come at me with these fake ass numbers and saying, well, Texas did that. Well, yeah, Texas had 100 and some odd people run. When was the last
Texas
time they
also has
won?
5 of the 10 biggest cities in the country in it.
Well, still,
Yeah.
what is the actual win rate?
What about the 100 people that nobody in the party knows who the fuck they are, just running on the ticket?
Yeah.
How about that?
Hmm.
That's what got all the people, and that's what got Florida in the shit stain there, and with what's his name, Ludicrous Maximus
Augustus
Generonicus or whatever. Yeah.
Homoeroticus.
Yeah, but that, I mean, you just put somebody on the ticket because look what ballot access got us. It got us all these candidates. No, it didn't. It got you a bunch of dickheads that want their name on a piece of paper.
And that's and
Or a candidate.
Ron also popped up in the chat, and he's hope we can get the 100 candidates. Honestly, I would be perfectly fine with 25 candidates as long as
the
they're
point
quality.
is we'd have to run the entire party to get the 100 candidates.
Exactly. I would
That's the illogical part to me. I would love it,
That's
but
true.
it's just not going to happen.
That's true. I would love a hand job right now, but that's not going to happen either.
Could. I'm 5 minutes away.
That's true. What you doing, guy?
Say.
No, but that's that's what I'm trying to get at. Is like, let's, instead of running 100 people, let's run 25 quality. We need to go for quality candidates here, not for quantity of candidates. Huge difference. And when I talk to my non-libertarian friends or people who at least follow politics, I'm like, what's your biggest gripe? Why would you not vote libertarian? 9 times out of 10, it's like, you guys don't have good candidates. Fair enough.
Yeah. I agree.
Listen to what the people say. If you want to attract more members, you got to give them a product that they want. If you want more customers, you got to give them a product that they want.
Yeah.
If you're putting out shitty products, no one's going to fucking buy it.
It don't
This
matter
is
if
ba-
you're
this is
the
basic
Republicans, you can't
business.
foist off a bad candidate these days.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, that gap is narrowing, and I like that, actually.
Well, here's the thing. The Republican Party is like Apple. They can put out a shit product, and people will still fucking buy it.
Yep.
I mean, it's just name recognition at that point.
But there is a level of shit that they won't take.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, they're kind of like an Apple customer. Like, if the phone doesn't work, they're going to be pissed. But, if it's 2 years behind in technology, they're going to stand in line and pay $1,000 for it. It's just that name brand recognition. If you look at the LP and running a state party as a business, your customers are the members. What do you want to do? Where are you at in this? How are you going to get them to come in and be involved and to donate money? We have to give them what they want. You have to give them the access to quality products. And the quality products for a political party is candidates. So instead of focusing on 100, let's focus on 25 really good options. And let's get the entire party together behind those 25 people and run them and get them on the ballot in the districts where they actually stand a chance of actually being on the ballot.
Yeah.
And then once we have a couple of wins in our pocket, then we can expand more. Because when we see more wins, more people are going to be like, hey, we're going to take these guys seriously. Membership grows. The customer base grows. The product line grows. Simple business 101.
Yeah, they don't
Sales and marketing.
They do not support their winning products. I mean, Dillman has to do everything on his own, and he's got 2 national grade foundations running. He does better outside the state than he does in the state.
Who's this again? I'm sorry.
Frank Dillman.
Oh yeah, Frank. Frank's been at this for a hot minute now.
Why in the hell ain't he our flagship? Him and Ron.
Shit. Your answer's as good as mine because people aren't willing to give him the time of day. I mean, and that's sad.
He has to run all his crap on his own.
Yeah.
And
I don't get me wrong. I do think the candidate should be responsible for assembling their team. That's because
Absolutely.
it's their it's their race. It's the party's job. It's the party leadership's job to kind of come back in and say, all right, now that you got this shit pinned up and you've got your team, how can we help? What do you need from us? Give us, a line-by-line list of what needs to happen. And it's at that point when the party leadership needs to come together and be able to determine if using these resources is actually worthwhile, if it's actually a viable business expense. What's the return on investment here? Is this person toxic? Is this person, going to cause more harm than good to the brand? Questions like this that would be like, okay, well, yay or nay. And then actually support them, actually kind of move forward and actually help coach them through the resources that the state has through national. Nationals, like you were saying, Nationals got a great amount of education initiatives. Fucking connect him, get him going. If he loses, well, great. He's still there. He's still fired up. He still wants to do it. Let's run them again on a different platform. These are all logical, strategic ways to be able to grow a party from the bottom up, instead of trying to go out there, pour it all over the place, and hope it sucks in somewhere. And I'm rambling. I'm sorry.
No, and you have just demonstrated the difference between somebody who wants to lead a party to success and a bunch of power mongers who are on a power grab, such as we have now.
Mm-hmm. And some of them are on full-on trips.
Yes. Yep, they are. So that's one thing.
That's the only way to describe the Facebook group.
No shit.
Well, I mean, I think that over the next week, it's going to start to get really interesting again as the push for Rachel's revocation of her membership becomes more, gets determined, and then as well as
apparently they're not trying to revoke her membership, is what she said.
I'm sorry, they're trying to kick her out. They're trying to kick her off the EC.
EC.
That's what it is. I apologize. Maybe I misspoke, but still, trying to kick her off the leadership council. And honestly, I'm not gonna say the only one. She is one of the very few that actually shows a level of leadership. So it would be shooting themselves in the foot.
She's the only one that if I were to try to do something similar but different, say activism, education type thing, I would be willing to bring on board.
Yep. And in a lot of this that's been going on, she's been very, very strong through it, and so more power to her. But over the next, she said they don't have the votes. It's a witch hunt. Yeah, it's a witch hunt because we're affiliated together. Because we talk, we both understand, each other's minds as far as a better way to get the EC in check. This
is one of the things where I think Laura Lane is invaluable to them, and they're squandering as well.
Oh yeah,
she's coming from a much bigger, much more. I lived out in California too. Okay, yeah. I'm aware of how the California Libertarian Party functions. Much more functional than ours. Again, this is still California. They're still getting their ass beat, but then again, that's standard for the Libertarian Party everywhere. But she is a wellspring and could be an extremely valuable resource on just plain functional best practices. Okay.
Oh yeah.
How to organize your basic functions of your events and all that kind of crap. That kind of experience, that kind of nuts and bolts kind of knowledge is the stuff that actually wins the day. Okay. You can have all the panache and all the keeping up with the Joneses, bells and whistles you want, but if you can't put together a basic event, you can't get all your everybody timed and all that stuff, you ain't gonna hold on. Okay.
Right.
And she has a huge amount of better stripes than probably, I won't say anybody in the party, but they need to be listening to her better than they are, is what I'm saying.
No, and I agree. And anything that I'm saying is not, saying that Laura Lane doesn't also bring. I mean, like we're talking about some of like the most powerful people, most knowledgeable people that I've met when it comes to this whole political realm. Without people like them in the leadership seat, you're not going to grow. You're not going to be able to actually have any type of credible party when it comes to dealing with the massive amount of libertarian-leaning people that could be potentially members.
And
but yeah, I think that they need to emphasize and de-emphasize. Pick your battlefield. We don't do good in the legal battlefield here in Alabama. They hate us. They're hostile to us, and they're going to do everything they can to fuck us up. So trying to play their game, which is do ballot access. That's what we want to see y'all doing. Is continually playing the other guy's game.
Right.
We actually have a fairly sympathetic media here. Okay. There's a lot of media figures and a lot of people who would be willing to give us access just to have a fresh view, or hell, a lot of them are crypto libertarians and their actual how they do their own lives and whatnot. And they know they are because they're media guys. So they're smart enough to have thought it out. Okay.
Well,
So what we should be doing is we should be fighting. If the Libertarian Party of Alabama wants to get any kind of traction, what we need to be doing is we need to be exercising the resources that are available to us and playing the fucking field the way that it is laid out in front of us, and that is we should be exercising the leverage that those media people can give us and the access that those media people can give us. I think that the Ron going on the radio was one of the great masterstrokes of this campaign, really.
oh yeah.
Because that got more traction for the party, not just Ron, but the party, than has been gotten in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And, well, this election, had some odd, what's the word I'm looking for? Side effects. Because you're mentioning media people. I had a media person reach out to me last night and want to get together and have dinner.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Somebody I hadn't heard from in quite a while.
Was it HuffPo?
No.
No. Will Anderson. Holy shit. Wow, be damned. Yeah, Will Anderson is host of the Will Anderson Show up here, and he's pretty hardcore conservative.
I call him a reasonable conservative.
Only when it comes to pot.
Well,
No, I'm saying though, like I've listened to his show. He's not an idiot.
No, it's just he's.
There are some issues there.
Yeah, there's issues there. As a former producer for him, he and I went toe to toe in a lot of things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Off air we can talk, okay?
Yeah. I mean, I have all the love in the world for Will. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but I mean, I wouldn't say.
Like I said, having listened to his show, he doesn't strike me as the rabid idiot type. Like
he's a lot.
I don't know. What's the
the
guy's
closer
name?
he gets to the closer he gets to Dale Jackson, the worse he gets.
Snark face.
Dale Jackson makes me want to scream. I scream.
Yeah.
I scream at the radio whenever it's on.
Oh,
Anyway,
But
just looks like a fucking possum.
no, Will is reasonable on some issues. It's just, how do you put it? He tends to, I think, sometimes set aside his own views in order to be a party shill.
for party loyalty.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's everybody that's a paid media guy.
Right.
So.
Yep.
Which is probably why I'm not one.
That is that I think that the era of that is starting to go by the wayside to some degree because that people only swallow so much shit in the shit sandwich,
Yeah.
and that amount of shit is getting smaller every cycle.
Oh, and that's what I was going to say about Will. One thing I will definitely say about Will, as far as hanging out with him and talking to him face to face in person, having a beer, whatever. Will is a ton of fun. I mean, he's a great guy to hang out with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Won't dispute that in the least. He's a lot of fun. So.
Yeah.
Okay, we're
stretching.
Yeah.
We're stretching.
90
We're
minutes now.
stretching. I need a cigarette, and I think we pretty much bored at least 3
Beat
people
it
who
to
are
death.
watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we will try to have a more focused show next week, I would hope.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nah, fuck it.
Fuck it.
Of course, we kind of got sidetracked right out of the gate. I mean, we got hammered on this one. So.
Yeah, it was just kind of like because we've never done a show where we have people actually come into the room and actually can talk if they want to.
Even before that, I mean, from the get go today, we got hammered.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's been a crazy day. It's been a crazy day. So
Because I mean, we were not expecting that Facebook flare issue.
no, but that's fine. Expect the unexpected and plan for it.
Shit happens when you party naked.
That's I party naked all the time.
And shit happens, doesn't it?
My kids tell me to please stop, and I'm like, no, this is my house. You pay rent? Nope.
Put your pants on, Dad.
Like, last time I checked, this is my domain. This is my castle. You don't like it? Get a job and get the fuck out.
I pay the rent here.
I'm a good
I'll
dad.
wear what I want to.
Yeah.
That's right.
One thing I do want to throw in real quick. This is normally done at the beginning of the. This is where we normally do at the beginning of the show. But we are now officially on iTunes.
We're on iTunes. Right.
Fuck yeah.
I finally
That's
got
actually going to be a big deal. I got a bunch of folks who've been waiting for that.
Me too.
I got a graphic. So that's why
and
we're on iTunes. 3 weeks. 3 weeks to take 2 minutes to fix a graphic.
It got approved, and so we are live on iTunes, and all
That's
episodes are showing.
Nice.
Also, what's the Twitter update?
Yeah, same as last week. Oh, but they wouldn't know about last week because the fucking
That's right,
show
'cause
got
it's
taken
fucking
off.
gone. It's fucking gone.
I've tweeted a couple of funny things, and that's about it. Nothing really fantastic about tweeters these days.
Nope.
Tweeting just kind of blows, man. I don't know.
If it's not Trump, no one cares.
That's right.
Yeah.
And he doesn't use hashtags anymore, so can't really fucking.
He is.
Can't
he is
write
a
his
hashtag.
coattails.
He is like
He is
the
a-
number one
Wait a
hashtag.
minute. So Twitter quit using hashtags, but Facebook started using them.
No. No.
Trump doesn't use hashtags.
Trump hasn't been using any lately.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm like,
Yeah.
Well, one of the hottest hashtags is going to be hashtag Trump or hashtag MAGA.
Yeah.
All right. Nothing else? It is 10:37. We have kind of killed an hour and a half now.
Well, yeah, but how much of that was, oh, fuck?
What the
about
fuck?
20 minutes.
So,
So
About
we're
20
actually
minutes to get us running.
going to start putting this on YouTube,
Facebook.
and then post it over to Facebook. Yep.
Yeah, that's gonna be the best way to do it.
if they'll let us.
So it's just a pain in the fucking ass. But all right. Anyways,
Fuck Facebook.
anything else? Last words, guys. We're gonna close this bad boy out.
Nope.
Nope. We're
Oh,
good.
man.
We're good. All right.
Fuck
Well,
'em
yet
all.
again, you've wasted another hour and almost an hour and a half, maybe an hour and 15 minutes of your time where you could have been doing better things, like probably rubbing one out to a picture of a crying Roy Moore. But instead, you decided to spend it with us at Uncivil Liberty. Until next week, guys. Have a good one.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Toodles.